traffic. No
Yeah,
doubt
let's
about the water
beat that horse
Well,
up.
let's talk about Route 70, because I know that's another big priority of yours. That's something that you talked about as we got into the interview. This 13 fatalities here in 2017. I think it was another dozen or 2 dozen more in the couple of years before that. So it's been a problem for a while now. So talk to us about kind of the human side of this and what it means to you, and what this issue means on a personal level. The idea that you as a supervisor could help to make Route 70 safer for your constituents. And how do you do that is the other question.
Well, first off, it's very personal. I grew up on Stouse Avenue in Oroville, California. We had a family of 5 boys. His father was a principal, Mr. Jernigan, and his oldest boy retired and within days was killed on Route 70 when a drunk driver passed over the line on the bridges there and just flat took him out. And that's close to family. You know, you grew up with a family. That hurt. Then my planning commissioner was coming home from a play in Sacramento, leading a caravan of 4 or 5 cars doing 55 miles an hour, and a van came out of the darkness sideways, and him and his wife were severely injured in the hospital for several weeks, and it killed 3 people in the van. So I was, I'm lucky to serve on BCAG. You know, all the town of Paradise and the cities all have representation. All the board of supervisors sit there. They've elected me chair. I just got to tell you, they're all very supportive of anything we do on 70. I don't want to be egotistical or anything. It was not without their support we wouldn't do this. I was called by John Clark, the head of BCAG, and he says, Bill, I want you to put a face on 70. And we were brainstorming. I said, get me a map, and I want to cross where every death's been. And they did one better. They put the crosses for that year, and it was like 8. Well, by the end of the year, it was 13, 11 of which no drugs or alcohol are suspected. Simply 11 people died because somebody wanted to pass.
It's a bad road.
It's because there's 4 lanes, and in traffic study, they've proven that if you're on a 4-lane freeway or highway, and then you go to the 2-lane, you're impatient, you make mistakes, and a tragedy was close to home because one guy was going from Paradise to go to work at Caltrans, and a lady was coming home to Paradise, and unfortunately, she passed, and they both died right out by Dingerville, south there. So it's close to home. We are on track to receive about $168 million to do all the way to our border 5 lanes. So it'll start at Ophir. Everything that's not complete will be completed to our border. And that'll be 2019, 2020 is optimistic for the start. The other way, Caltrans has managed to get the money coming out of Marysville. So you get neck down by the train trestles. That'll be done. The gap is between there. It's only funded for 3 lanes. Talking to Amarjeet of Caltrans, he's the head guy here in this district, really a great gentleman, really cares and passionate about this project. He said when they did this in Yuba City, it just simply moved the deaths to the 3 lanes. They had to come back. So we don't want to survey that, and there's some pushback down there. The local residents don't want the 5 lanes, but it's just too many cars. I counted one day there were 600 cars in the middle of the day driving down there and came the other way. So we're going to go to D.C. a couple of weeks here around the 19th, and we're going to ask the federal government for like $47 million for that gap to make it 5 lanes all the way. I think it will improve the quality of life in Chico, Paradise, Oroville. I think it's a great thing. It'll make it safer for us to get to Sacramento. We'll pick up probably, so there'll be some people move here for the quality of life and work in Sacramento, which is a good thing. We're also looking, if possible, it's not a promise yet, we're looking at getting a train to come twice a day, morning and night, to Oroville, which to me, in my mind, would be a great way to improve tourism, because you're having the Appleseed Days up in Paradise, we could run buses there. If you're having a beer fest in Chico, we could run them there. If we're having something at Gridley, the fair, I think it would help the entire community. So BCAG is optimistically looking at that. It's not a done deal yet. I wish we could get the freeway done sooner. If we had a habitat conservation plan, which isn't very popular with the ag community for various reasons, we would be done 2 years sooner and save $30 million.
And so the projected time of completion is when again? Would you
I'd say
guesstimate?
2024, you know how government works. 2025 probably, to be realistic. We'd like to get it done quicker, again starting in 2019 to 2020. Yeah, and it'll change the quality of our life up here in so many ways. I just look forward to it. You want to go see a Kings game? You know,
You're right, exactly.
Yeah, and I think about how, you know, Chico lost air service and how much that impacts the roads going down to Sacramento and all those flights that now people are driving down, or elderly that need to get down to a flight, or now that they have to figure out a way to drive that, and a train, shuttle, something. I mean, air service back to Chico would be, you know, some of those would lighten the impact there, but definitely something that's been going on long before, even back when Chico did have air service. So, you know, good to see that the powers that be are getting it together and looking at.
You know, the saddest thing is the deaths. You know, 38 in so many years and 13 in 1 year. It's terrible. It's ridiculous. And I don't think it'll go away. The only other suggestion, I haven't talked to anyone yet, is a guy called me and says, why don't you just make it double lane all the way and put signs up, soon coming highway. He's got a good point. Maybe we need to look into it, but I don't know. What do you do? Yeah.
Well, I mean, infrastructure is something that people talk about a lot. I mean, certainly the roads get beat up. I mean, we talk about the potholes. I mean, it's not nearly, of course, same issue as deaths or anywhere close to it. But I mean, you know, potholes annoy a lot of people. And I mean, you know, if you can relieve the pressure on those roads through some of the kind of the things you're talking about, probably a good idea. I would think in the long term.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I hope we see it. Yeah. Nothing crazy happens. Yeah.